YouTube? It's your boy Greg back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, we talk about fragrance related topics, so if there's something that you're interested in, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload. Alright, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I hope you enjoy today and enjoy the time with your family. But as we know, Thanksgiving is normally a day where we really just, eat a lot of food, a lot of good food with family. Sometimes, or most of the time, we kind of dress up a little bit and you want to have a nice fragrance to go with that. So the thing about Thanksgiving, right, is that you're going to be in close encounters more than likely, right? So you want something that's going to be addictive, something that's going to be alluring, something that's really going to draw people in and really make people enjoy smelling what you're wearing. Why? Because you're in close encounters, right? You don't want something that's really going to be off-putting or anything like that, right? I know I probably should have put this video out yesterday, but most of these fragrances, I'm sure a lot of you already have. So you can basically just kind of choose from what I have if, you're kind of struggling on what to wear this year or today. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so the first fragrance that's going to start off this list today is none other than Oriental Tobacco. All right, so I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about the House of Dossier. That is a company that basically make, clones or inspirations, whatever you want to call it, right? And this particular one is an inspiration from Tobacco Vanille from the House of Tom Ford. So the House of Dossier is a company, like I said before, they make clones, inspirations, or whatever you want to talk about, right? But they do it on fragrances that are a little bit more expensive. So for instance, Tobacco Vanille, $300+ fragrance, right? But with them, you can pick this up for $29, $39. They have a large selection. So if Tobacco Vanille is not something that you really like, they have a lot more that you can choose from. So let me tell you from my experience, Oriental Tobacco is probably the closest clone that I have ever smelled in their entire company. I'm being honest with you, okay? Tobacco Vanille is literally in this bottle, right? But you came here to know why you should wear this on Thanksgiving. So basically with this one, if you haven't smelled Tobacco Vanille, this is perfect for Thanksgiving. Why? Because it's sweet. It's got a little bit of spiciness going on. It's almost kind of like, I guess you could say like a pumpkin pie or something like that. It's kind of giving off those gourmandish edible vibes, and scents like that when it's a little cool outside are very, very intoxicating. People like that because you just, you smell so good, you smell so edible, right? And it's pleasing. It's not going to pierce people's nose and make them, sneeze or give them headaches or anything like that, right? But don't let that fool you on the performance, okay? This has great performance, so I would still say go easy on the trigger. But in my opinion, this is a great fragrance to wear on Thanksgiving and just in cooler weather in general. So if you smell Tobacco Vanille, but you're not able to afford it or you don't want to pay that money, go ahead and check out Oriental Tobacco from the House of Dossier. All right, so the next fragrance we're going to talk about is from the House of Hugo Boss, and it's none other than Boss Bottled Intense. Now, I know a lot of people have this fragrance, and that was why I put it in this list. And the reason why I feel like this is perfect for Thanksgiving is because it's the perfect balance for people who live somewhere, let's say like me. I live in Texas, okay? So it's not too cold, it's not too hot at this time of the year, right? So you need something that's not gonna be, too sweet and too heavy. And you need something that's gonna still have somewhat of an aromatic vibe, something that has a little bit of freshness in it. And this right here does that, okay? So it's fresh, it's warm, it's spicy, right? It does have a slight powderiness to it, but not too much, okay? And with it having that warm and spiciness thing going on, it still has somewhat of a freshness to it, almost as if it's not like a warm and spicy scent. It's kind of like the perfect combination of warm and spicy and then fresh and clean. That's why I feel like this one is perfect for someone like me who lives in Texas, because it's like, I don't want to wear something that's just too clean, too fresh, too aquatic or anything like that on Thanksgiving. But it's not that cold, so I'll kind of, choke people out if I'm wearing something like, Dior Homme Parfum or something like that. Something that's just very thick and just very rich, But this one right here really helps out because, like I said, it's the perfect balance between, you know, warm, spicy, sweet, and also being fresh and clean. So I'm sure a lot of you have this in your collection, okay? So if you're struggling, you know, on what to wear today on Thanksgiving, go ahead and pull this joker out right here and rock it and be confident. Again, from the house of Hugo Boss, Bossed, Bottled, Intense. Right, so the next fragrance we're gonna talk about is from the house of Zara, and it's Tobacco, from the Tobacco collection. Now, I know a lot of people have this one as well, which is why I included it in this list. This one, in my opinion, is perfect for Thanksgiving because it's one of those sweet honey tobacco fragrances, right? But it is not overpowering. It's just kind of one of those intoxicating, smooth, rich scents, right? And this is extremely cheap, guys. Like, at first I didn't like this because it kind of came off a little bit feminine, but as I wore it and gave it some time, it started to really warm up on my skin, kind of started to thicken up a little bit. It's one of those fragrances that sit close to the skin, but it's sweet. It has that sweet tobacco thing going on, which kind of gives it a little bit of darkness, right? But it also has that coconut, which kind of gives it a little bit of brightness. It kind of gives, you know, the fragrance a little bit of life. You know, it's not just a, you know, a dark, sweet, you know, spicy fragrance. Then it also has some honey in it as well, which is giving it kind of like that, you know, that thick sweetness, but it's not like a thick fragrance. So to me, I feel like that's perfect. You got a fragrance that is, you know, somewhat dark. It's a little bit mellow, smells good, it's sweet, right? And it doesn't project too much. So it's not going to offend the people that's around you, right? And it's a very pleasant scent, you know, almost smells edible, you know, due to that sweetness, that honey that's in this fragrance. So it's a fragrance that I feel will definitely suit you right on Thanksgiving. So again, from the house of Zara, Tobacco, for the Tobacco collection. All right, so the next fragrance we're gonna talk about is from the house of Maison Margiela, and it's none other than Jazz Club. All right, so first off, I see that my light just went out. So if you see a little difference in the video, I apologize. The light just ran out of battery. Back to this fragrance, Jazz Club. Why do I feel like this is a perfect fragrance for Thanksgiving? Well, imagine that you're at a social gathering. You're with your family. Let's say it's, you know, really windy outside. Leaves are everywhere. It kind of has that cozy vibe, right? And you're just chilling with the family. This right here is that chill vibe type of fragrance, right? It's sweet, right? But it still has a slight spiciness, not too much, but just enough. And then it has that rum in it, which is giving it that slight booziness, which is kind of giving it a little bit more character than your basic, you know, warm and sweet fragrance. And speaking of warm, yes, it's a warm and cozy fragrance. So if you want something that's going to have a slight booziness to it, some sweetness to it, just a little touch of spiciness to it, and then a touch of citruses, but not too much, this is going to be perfect for you. And I honestly think this would be a great fragrance for Thanksgiving because not only is it perfect for Thanksgiving, it's just an all-around good fragrance. I mean, Jazz Club is one of the best fragrances I've smelled from the house of Maison Margiela. So if you haven't checked it out, after Thanksgiving on Black Friday, you know they're going to be having all them sales. Go ahead and check this one out. And if you have it, it's a great option for Thanksgiving Day. All right, so last but not least is a fragrance that I recently purchased. So I'm not going to say much about it, and it's none other than Oud Ambramad, or Ambramad, whatever you want to call it. So this fragrance right here is a fragrance that just kind of fell upon me. You know, I went on vacation recently and I had a sample of this one, right? And, you know, I had went out to a nice dinner and I wore that sample, and man, I'm telling you, I fell in love with this fragrance, man. It was just, you know, it's a oud and rose based fragrance, right? I'm not gonna say much more, but it's a oud and rose based fragrance, right? And when you first spray it on, you're going to think like, okay, this is a fragrance that's gonna be a little too loud, a little too much, right? But I'm telling you, as it just started to dry down on my skin, I mean, maybe 5-10 minutes later, it just really just calmed down and became such a sweet oud rose fragrance. And it was so intoxicating. I mean, like, I enjoyed smelling this fragrance on myself. Like, I didn't care about compliments. I didn't care about nobody else around me. Like, I was enjoying this fragrance. You know, it's kind of a warm and cozy fragrance. Yes, it does have the oud, it does have the rose, and they are kind of in your face, but that's only for like 10, maybe 15 minutes. But after that, everything just kind of calms down, it settles out, right? And then it becomes such a, intoxicating scent, a very, very sexy scent. I know I didn't say much about it, but I'm going to make a full dedicated video, to Oud Ambramad. So if you haven't checked it out, or if you have checked it out, or if you have it, consider wearing this today for Thanksgiving. All right. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I kind of rushed through it. This was kind of like last minute. I know I should have put this video out yesterday. That way you could have had some time to really, go through your collection or even go buy anything that I have on this list. But I tried to include fragrances that I felt people already had. Yes, there are a couple that I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't have. But I tried to look out for both worlds, for the niche world and for the, designer world, okay? So if you liked the video, go ahead and give your boy a thumbs up, and that's it. Take care. Peace.